Here is my thought. Intra-African trade, non-tariff barriers, and the role of technology to address them. Having run out of adjectives to describe the enormously significant challenges non-tariff barriers pose, the following data are sufficient enough to sketch NTBs pitfall for even free trade economies. But first, according to the UN Trade and Development, non-tariff barriers are restrictive regulations and procedures other than tariffs that increase the complexity and cost of importing or exporting goods. The barriers ranging from procedural delays at borders to complex technical standards that must be met before goods are allowed to move across borders. In other words, these, I argue, are restrictive tools that result from measures put by a country. Government impose these restrictions either to protect their citizens in terms of goods coming into their country and also to regulate trade. These examples of these NTBs are custom processing, which can be lengthy sometimes, excessive documentations, license to acquire to be able to export or import. We also have infrastructure and corruption problems, all attributed to the NTBs. To begin with, it is estimated that NTBs are at least 3 times more restrictive than ordinary custom duties, posing huge obstacles to trade. Another report says that African countries could unlock up to $7.1 billion in GDP growth by addressing NTBs at continental level. Amidst current global trade tensions, WTO's Global Trade Outlook and Statistic Report estimates that non-tariff barriers is projected to reduce global real GDP by almost 7% in the long run, estimately by 2040. Low-income economies would lose out the most in such a scenario, with a loss of more than 9%, the report states. How can technology come in to curtail the NTB's impact? For centuries, countries, when faced with unprecedented challenges, they would invent impressive new technologies to make things better for their existence. Most of what is now the Netherlands was created during the Ice Age, when rivers flowing from continental Europe deposited silt in the estuaries, creating very few strips of land. In order to build and maintain the land that once appeared inhabitable, the Dutch people had to invent impressively new technologies, from sophisticated dike and sluice gates to water pumps powered by wind wheels. Years later, the Netherlands, during its golden age, became the most prosperous nation in Europe and possibly the world. Even today, it still houses the world's biggest technology firms that produce things like chips, which power AI model tools and robots that we use today. The Dutch currently rank among the top 10 on the United Nations Human Development Index, which measures quality of life, wealth, life expectancy, and quality education. In order to address this recurring problem of the NTBs, technology companies and trade experts need to come together to leverage the 21st century's most powerful and extraordinary technology, artificial intelligence. IBM, International Business and Machine Corporation, which is a major American multinational technology company, developed the Cognitive Trade Advisor (CTA), an AI-powered tool that aims to help trade negotiators by rapidly reading, scanning, classifying, and interpreting thousands of provisions in trade agreements and related documents. Meanwhile, more AI-powered tools are being developed today to address trade barriers. What is being done and what should be added now? The full emergence of African Continental Free Trade Area and the recent efforts of WTO are good examples. First, African Continental Free Trade Area aims to eliminate tariffs and non-tariff barriers by a substantial phase. WTO aim has been to ensure that trade goes on smoothly, predictably, and efficiently. Questions like tariffs and non-tariff barriers are addressed. African Continental Free Trade Area has established an NTB subcommittee charged with overseeing the progress on the elimination of NTBs and make periodic review on each country's effort. In turn, each country is required to form national monitoring committee as well as national NTB focal points. WTO has ensured that all countries globally have signed the Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA, requiring each country to take important steps to facilitate cross-border procedures. To add more effective measures, African Continental Free Trade Area should ensure that it continues to collaborate with technology companies to make the process much easier and faster. So do WTO through its TFA. True enough, we have some NTB problems that are not solved by technology like infrastructure, but the sweeping challenges require modern technologies. Additionally, to navigate NTB problems, companies and SMEs need to plan out and have all the necessary documents and have to complete all the documents for proper shipments. And policymakers should make pertinent decisions capable of addressing the problems. Once we do this, it means we have prepared ourselves to mitigate the challenges. It is important that SMEs and companies get professional help from experts who are familiar with their industry. These experts will help you know what kind of problems may occur. Lastly, educate yourself. Get the technical know-how of modern technology and all aspects of exporting. The more advanced you are in the use of artificial intelligence tools and exporting skills, the much easier it becomes for you to compete at the international market. Thank you very much. Moaz Ahmad, International Trade Specialist.